Most people wake up every morning driven by one of two forces, purpose or passion. And while both can be powerful, the one that leads determines the outcome of your life. You see, passion is often loud. It screams for attention. It burns like fire and can make you feel alive. But purpose is quiet, deep, and constant. It doesn't shout. It guides. It doesn't demand excitement. It requires commitment. We live in a world obsessed with passion. Follow your passion, they say. Do what makes you happy. But let's pause for a moment. What if passion isn't enough? What if the fire of passion dies out when life gets tough? What if you chase your passion so blindly that you lose yourself in the process? Let me tell you this. Passion is energy, but purpose is direction. Passion can take you somewhere, but only purpose will take you where you were meant to be. It's like driving a car with a full tank of gas. That's passion. But unless you know where you're going, you'll just burn fuel without reaching a meaningful destination. Purpose is the GPS. Passion is the fuel. One without the other either gets you nowhere or wears you out trying. Many people confuse the two. They believe because they're excited about something, it must be their purpose. But excitement doesn't always mean alignment. You can be excited about something that isn't aligned with who you are or what you were built to do. You can be passionate about a career, a cause, or a hobby, and yet still feel empty at the end of the day. Purpose, on the other hand, is grounded. It comes from deep awareness of your strengths, your values, your experiences, and your unique contribution to the world. Purpose doesn't always feel exciting. In fact, sometimes it's uncomfortable. It asks for discipline, sacrifice, and long-term vision. While passion seeks immediate gratification, purpose demands patience. While passion burns quickly, purpose burns consistently. Think of the people who changed the world. Think of innovators, visionaries, leaders. Most of them were not led by passion alone. They were guided by a deep sense of meaning, a reason to wake up every morning that was bigger than their emotions. Passion gave them the energy, but purpose gave them the endurance. Let's break it down more clearly. Passion is emotional. Purpose is intentional. Passion says, I love this. Purpose says, I was made for this. Passion is about what excites you. Purpose is about what defines you. Passion is good, but purpose is essential. Passion is a gift, but it's also unstable. It can be influenced by your environment, your mood, or your circumstances. You might be passionate about something today and bored of it tomorrow. That's why so many people start projects, relationships, businesses, or careers full of excitement, only to abandon them the moment things get difficult. Why? Because passion alone cannot sustain you. Purpose, however, roots you. When you're living on purpose, you are not moved by temporary emotions. You are not swayed by every opportunity that looks good. You have a filter. You ask yourself, is this aligned with my purpose? And if it's not, you walk away, even if it's exciting. That's power. That's clarity. Let me ask you a question. What's really driving your life right now, passion or purpose? Are you chasing what excites you, or are you committed to what fulfills you? Are you running from boredom, or are you moving with intention? These are not easy questions, but they are necessary. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not against passion. Passion is beautiful. Passion gives you life, but passion must serve purpose, not replace it. The danger is when you make passion your purpose. That's like making your feelings your compass. And feelings are the most unreliable GPS you could ever use. We must begin to shift from a passion-driven life to a purpose-centered life. This means we stop asking, what do I feel like doing? And start asking, what was I designed to do? It means we stop following excitement and start following alignment. It means we stop chasing dreams that look good and start building lives that feel right. When you live from purpose, your energy becomes focused. You stop wasting time on distractions. You stop comparing yourself to others. You stop saying yes to everything. You become selective. Not because you're arrogant, but because you're aware. Aware of who you are, aware of what you bring, aware of where you're going. This awareness is what separates the busy from the effective. It's what separates motion from progress. Some people are passionate, but they're running in circles. Others are purposeful, and every step they take moves them forward, even if it's small. Because purpose doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes purpose looks like consistency, discipline, resilience. In fact, many people are frustrated in life not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because they're chasing passion without knowing their purpose. They're working hard, but not smart. They're moving fast, but not forward. They're burning energy, but not building legacy. And that's the key. Legacy. Passion wants attention. Purpose builds legacy. Passion makes noise. Purpose makes impact. Passion can get you applause. Purpose earns you respect. Passion feels good. Purpose fulfills. So how do you know the difference? How do you identify your purpose and not just your passion? That's what we're going to explore in the next part of this teaching. Because once you find your purpose, everything changes. Your time, your choices, your relationships, your direction. But for now, I want you to reflect deeply. Are you chasing a feeling or living with intention? Are you following noise or following meaning? Are you addicted to excitement or committed to impact? Your life is too valuable to be driven by emotion alone. It's time to anchor your life to something deeper, something stronger, something unshakable. Let's begin with the foundational truth. Purpose is not something you invent. It's something you uncover. It's already within you. It's written into the blueprint of who you are. That means your purpose is not a job, a title, or even a goal. Your purpose is your original assignment, the reason for your existence. Too often people confuse what they do with who they are. But your purpose is not limited to your profession. It's not defined by your income, your popularity, or your current circumstances. Purpose is deeper than occupation. It's the unique value you bring to the world, in any role, in any season. So, how do you begin to uncover it? You start with self-discovery. Purpose is rooted in identity. If you don't know who you are, you will always struggle to know why you're here. This is why people jump from job to job, project to project, relationship to relationship. They're searching for something outside to define what's missing inside. But the truth is, your purpose has clues, and those clues are already present in your life. They're found in your natural strengths, your deepest frustrations, your greatest joys, and even your painful experiences. Often what you've endured is connected to what you're meant to solve. Your life's journey holds fingerprints of your purpose. Ask yourself, what problems deeply bother me? What issues do I feel compelled to solve? What comes naturally to me that others find difficult? What do I do effortlessly that others compliment me for? What gives me a deep sense of satisfaction beyond recognition or reward? These questions are not just reflective, they are revealing. They uncover the intersection between who you are and what the world needs. That's where purpose lives. At the point where your authenticity meets the world's need. See, passion is often about what you enjoy. Purpose is about what you're equipped to handle. Passion can be a good starting point, but it must be filtered through purpose. Just because you're excited about something doesn't mean it's aligned with your mission. Passion can inspire, but only purpose can sustain. Let's talk about alignment. Alignment is when your actions match your assignment. It's when your daily decisions reflect your ultimate direction. Many people live in frustration, not because they don't have ambition, but because their ambition is not aligned with their purpose. They climb the ladder of success only to realize it was leaning against the wrong wall. When you live in alignment, life becomes focused. You stop scattering your energy in every direction. You stop saying yes to distractions. You stop chasing trends and start following truth. Your truth. You become strategic with your time, intentional with your growth, and selective with your environment. Now let's deal with a popular myth that purpose is always glamorous. It's not. Sometimes your purpose will take you through seasons of obscurity. Sometimes it won't be appreciated, noticed, or even paid well. That's why purpose requires conviction. Because if you don't believe in it, you'll abandon it when it gets hard. Purpose will ask you to do what's necessary, not just what's popular. It will demand discipline, sacrifice, and consistency. You may not always feel passionate, but you'll still show up because you understand the bigger picture. That's what separates performers from pioneers. Performers wait for applause. Pioneers walk alone if they have to. Now, how do we align passion with purpose? The key is not to eliminate passion, it's to redirect it. Passion becomes powerful when it is a servant of purpose. It becomes energy for execution. So instead of asking, what am I passionate about? Ask, where can my passion serve my purpose? Maybe you're passionate about speaking, but your purpose is to educate, to empower, to transform thinking. Speaking then becomes a tool, not the destination. Or maybe you love to write, but your purpose is to clarify, to challenge, to provoke growth. Writing is just a vehicle. The destination is transformation. When you connect your passion to something larger than yourself, it gains depth. It stops being about self-expression and starts becoming about contribution. And that's where fulfillment lives. Not in what you do, but in why you do it. Let's make this practical. If you want to start living from purpose, here are 5 steps you can begin today. 1, clarify your core values. What principles guide your life? What do you stand for? What will you never compromise on? 2, identify your natural gifts. What are you naturally good at? What do others constantly seek your help with? 3, examine your life's patterns. What themes keep recurring in your life? What lessons have you learned that others are still struggling with? 4, observe your impact. Where have you made the most meaningful difference? What environments bring out your best contribution? 5, commit to a cause beyond yourself. Purpose is never self-centered. It always involves adding value to others, whether one person or a million. As you move through these steps, you'll start seeing your life through a different lens. You'll stop chasing momentary excitement and start building lasting fulfillment. You'll begin to filter your choices through your calling. You'll stop living on accident and start living on assignment. This is not a one-time discovery. Purpose evolves as you grow. It deepens as you mature. But once you anchor your life to it, everything changes. You become stable in storms. You become clear in chaos. You become powerful in silence. The question is no longer, what do I feel like doing? The question becomes, what was I built to do, and how can I do it with excellence? Because once you align your passion with your purpose, you stop performing and start producing. You stop searching and start building. You stop drifting and start directing. By now, you understand that purpose is not a moment, it's a lifestyle. It's not something you stumble upon by accident or unlock just once. It's a journey of continuous discovery, development, and discipline. But now comes the most important part. How do you sustain that purpose over time? Especially when the passion starts to fade. Let's be clear. There will be days when passion isn't enough. The adrenaline wears off. The excitement gets interrupted by pressure. Reality gets heavy. That's when purpose steps in as your anchor. This is why living by purpose isn't about hype. It's about endurance. If you want to sustain a purpose-driven life, you must master the art of consistency without applause. Too many people are motivated by recognition. But true purpose is not about being seen. It's about staying true. Even when nobody's watching, even when it's hard, even when it's lonely. Understand this. Purpose is a daily decision. Every day, you're either reinforcing it or replacing it. Every choice you make either takes you closer to your assignment or further from it. You don't drift into purpose. You choose it on good days and bad days, when you feel like it and when you don't. One of the biggest enemies of purpose is distraction. And in this world of noise, distraction is everywhere. It's not always a bad thing. Sometimes it looks like an opportunity. But not every opportunity is your assignment. You must learn to say no, not just to what's wrong, but to what's not aligned. Every distraction carries a cost. When you say yes to everything, you dilute your energy, you stretch yourself thin, you lose focus. Purpose requires focus. And focus means clarity with boundaries. You need to know what matters most and protect it ruthlessly. Another enemy of purpose is comparison. When you start comparing your journey to someone else's, you lose sight of your own. You start chasing their passion instead of staying committed to your purpose. And nothing is more dangerous than living someone else's dream while abandoning your own assignment. So how do you stay grounded? You must build a structure around your purpose. Don't just rely on emotion. Create systems, have routines. Design your environment to support your focus. Surround yourself with people who challenge your growth, not just your comfort zone. And here's something practical. Purpose thrives in preparation. When you live with purpose, you don't wait for motivation. You prepare like it's your responsibility, because it is. Purpose is not just what you do, it's how you do it. With excellence, with integrity, with vision. You must also embrace the seasons of struggle. Yes, struggle. Because purpose isn't always smooth. There will be delays, there will be failure, there will be moments of doubt. But those moments aren't signs to quit. They're tests to prove your commitment. Resilience is the mark of someone living on purpose. When others give up, you stay. When others complain, you create. When others get distracted, you go deeper. You become unshakable, not because life is easier for you, but because your reason is stronger than your resistance. Now let's talk about impact. At some point, purpose must move beyond personal development. It must become public contribution. Your life was not just meant to be productive, it was meant to be impactful. And impact is not about how loud you are, it's about how deeply you affect others. You don't need a stage to walk in purpose. You don't need fame, followers, or fortune. You need clarity, commitment, and courage. Purpose is not about the spotlight. It's about service. It's about leaving things better than you found them. It's about creating value that lasts beyond your presence. That's the difference between a good life and a meaningful life. A good life is about comfort. A meaningful life is about contribution. A good life feels nice. A meaningful life feels right. When you live by purpose, even your smallest actions carry weight. Even your quiet seasons become preparation for impact. So how do you measure your life? Not just by what you've earned, but by what you've built. Not just by what you've achieved, but by who you've helped. Not just by what you've finished, but by what you've started in others. That's legacy. Let me give you some guiding principles to finish strong. 1, discipline over emotion. Don't wait to feel like it. Build systems that work even when you're not inspired. 2, progress over perfection. You don't need to have it all figured out. Take one aligned step at a time. 3, conviction over applause. Live from the inside out. Let your belief in your purpose outweigh the need for validation. 4, contribution over consumption. Focus less on what you can get and more on what you can give. Purpose multiplies through impact. 5, alignment over activity. You don't need to be everywhere. You need to be in the right place, doing the right thing for the right reason. In the end, you have to ask yourself the hardest question of all. What story will my life tell? Will it be a story of random pursuits, emotional reactions, and untapped potential? Or will it be the story of a life lived with intention, on assignment, committed to a higher standard? You may not control every circumstance, but you do control your choices, you do control your focus, you do control what drives you. Let passion inspire you, but let purpose lead you. Because when passion fades, and it will, purpose remains. When life gets difficult, and it will, purpose stands strong. When the noise gets loud, purpose stays quiet, steady, and unshakable. So don't just live excited. Live intentional. Don't just move fast. Move in alignment. Don't just follow your passion. Follow your purpose. Because at the end of the day, the most fulfilled people aren't the ones who lived emotionally. They're the ones who lived intentionally. Not for applause, but for meaning. Not just for success, but for significance. And that's what you were made for.